Okay, so we're on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We're a little bit late today at 5:06 on Tuesday, October the 20th. Any disclosures, board members, of direct or indirect pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Preliminary matters, Madam Secretary, is there anything there that we need to cover off?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move, Ken.
Member Brown. Ken, you're going to
Yes.
second that?
Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes. Member McSweeney, just before we move on, did you have something that you wanted to change on that in the back half, or?
It was something on the September 15 minutes, but so I think that can wait.
It can wait. Okay. Very good. Very good. And there is, so we've gotten the agenda approved. Item 5, there's nothing for us to come out of camera and share at this time. So we will skip and we're on to the public session. And just before we get to Mr. Sprague, and Dwayne, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome, we were chatting about this earlier today before I do this, and I want to make sure we get off to the right start here with our friends from the OPP. So how are we going to do this? Is it DC Randall? Is it Detachment Commander Randall? Or is it Inspector Randall? Or is it just Nikki? How should we address you in these meetings so that we're all being respectful? Oh, I think you're just on mute.
Yeah. So I said I'm muted, but you couldn't hear me say I was muted. So Nikki is fine. I get addressed anywhere from Commander Randall most of the time. It's a short and easy to say in regard to some meetings that we have, but Nikki's fine with me. Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're doing it properly. My mentoring in the old world was if we were sitting together and I was invited to call someone by their first name, then that was fine. Otherwise, I should be using the rank and being respectful in that way. So moving forward in those meetings, we'll all go by Nikki then.
That's great with me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to item 6.1, board members, there was a slew of documents that I shared out that Dwayne has nicely brought to us. And I think moving forward, we're going to have a more elongated session with Mr. Sprague. But today, as a kickoff, I think, Dwayne, you're just here to kind of mentor us and help us meander through here so we can have a somewhat successful board meeting. Do you want to kind of take it from there? Oh, I think you're on mute, sir. Yep.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
I appreciate that. I will probably be more condensed or briefer than what we initially sort of planned. A couple things, as you mentioned, happy to see the documents I sent out go to all board members today. What I'm going to suggest, a couple things here. Acknowledge the documents that you've got. Send those out. Those have all gone, I understand, to all board members. What I would say to all board members is please read them through thoroughly. They're sort of a good basis or a good background information. As you made the transition, I guess you're still winding up some things, but you basically made the transition from a Section 31 to a Section 10 board. I think what I'm going to do is I'll just going to mention briefly. I don't want to get into what I call a full training training session. What I'm going to do is probably throw this out to you guys. There are some significant changes from a 31 to a 10. Right off the bat, I'm going to suggest that everybody take a look at the Police Services Act. You can obtain it online as well through eLaws, or I can send you the link. And your roles and responsibilities, for the most part, are captured under Section 10 of the PSA. That's, basically why we use the term. You'll hear me use the term Section 10, Section 31. 31s are basically for municipal services. 10s are for OPP municipal boards. So number one, take a look at Section 10, and I'll get into this a little bit more. Section 10 really lays out your roles and responsibilities as a Section 10 Police Services Board. I'd also suggest that you take a look in the PSA at sections 27 to 40. Now, 27 to 40 are fairly brief, and I would suggest everybody write down sections 27 to 40 in the PSA, with the exception of 31, 38, and 39. Those do not apply to Section 10 boards. And 27 and 28, for the most part, they really only talk about the size of boards and why you have a 3 or 5 or 7 member board. But really, once again, your roles and responsibilities still are encapsulated in that section, or sections 27 to 40 minus 31, 38, and 39. The other documents I sent, Todd, to you, Code of Conduct and the rest of them, the Section 10 Relations with Council, please read those. Those are very important documents to read. The other thing I'm going to mention as well, and I might ask Carrie, not Carrie, but I think I'm going to ask Nikki. I'm not sure Carrie would have this. I'm not sure the board has it, but do you have a copy of the agreement? The terms of the service level agreement, Nikki, do you know, or does the board have a copy of that?
So I've asked our CAO, Ed Brennan, for that, and I think it's just been a lot for everybody at the town, and
Yeah.
He's committed to sending that, and obviously I'd share that out with the board. I do not have that yet, but thanks for the prompt. I'll follow up and ask him again for that.
That's okay. That's okay. What I'm going to suggest, rather than generally what I do is that these documents usually go out. It gives board members, especially during this transition, to read those documents. I'll see if I have any more. I'm going to say no. I think those are a good foundation, a good basis to sort of start and understand what your roles, responsibilities are as a Section 10 board. Start with those, read those. Then what I'm going to propose to the board today, rather than going through question and answers, you really need to read those documents first. But second, I'm going to suggest a training session. And I think if you folks could read those documents, which also include the Police Services Board Orientation Manual, as well as all the other ones I sent. If you can read those, what I'm going to suggest, and DC, you're welcome to attend as well if you're available, depending on when it's scheduled, to do a training session. I'm going to suggest about an hour training session. I'm going to say an hour. I've done an hour and a half, 2 hours, depends on whether it's a Section 10 or Section 31 board. But if you read the material that I sent, Chair Taylor and all board members, I'm going to suggest that I can probably get it done for you folks in about an hour. And at that point, we can have a much more fulsome back and forth of questions, and include the inspector if you're available, Nikki. That would be great. But that's what I would suggest the board right now. And I'm open to doing that if you want to do that as soon as possible or early next month. I would throw that to the board.
Okay.
So I don't have much more to add. I think at this point, Chair Taylor, I think I would, like I said, I would strongly recommend those documents, that the board go through those. You're welcome to write down as a group or individually any questions you've got. There are significant changes in many respects, going from a 31 to a 10 in a good way. Some ways it alleviates a lot of the roles and responsibilities. Not a lot, but there's some major ones that you don't have any involvement in, like the budgeting process, like provincial policies. And I can explain a lot of that more fully and in a fulsome way, and we can have much more interaction and dialogue, I think, in a training session.
I think that'd be great. I wonder, Dwayne, as the first mover and probably the most important person in that meeting, would you be able to give us 3 or 4 options that might work for you? And some of us have full-time commitments, so if there was something post 4, post 5, I for one would be grateful. But if there was something in there, that'd be great. And if you just gave us 3 or 4 options, then we can choose and align on a best time that works for you.
Yeah, if you folks are good for an evening, doesn't matter to me. I generally say, I'll go anywhere, anytime, or we'll do it through Teams, Microsoft Teams. And if it's in the evening, if you folks prefer, I have no problem with that. So whatever works for you guys, I'm going to suggest anytime Pick a good day between the board members. Let's say from November 1st on.
Okay,
I prefer a 4 to 5, like what you were saying, Todd, as a start time.
sure.
I'm good with that. No problem. I'll make it work.
Why don't we, why don't I follow up with the board members? And I just want to spend a little time on my calendar, and it doesn't seem like that's probably the best use of everybody's time. And I'll send out some options to the board, and then we'll come back to you then, Dwayne, if that's okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, and trust me, I will.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I think we're fully ensconced in Teams at this point. The police station's being renovated, and we've been in this mode now since March, so we'll do it this way if we could, and give us a chance to comment on your nice background there and crown molding and whatnot. So.
yeah. I gotta put some pictures up or something.
Maybe put some Christmas lights up too.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good thing. Is I mean, like I said, I like to get right into the meat of the slide deck. Their first 6 or 8 slides have some of the background information in there that it does set somewhat of a foundation, but it is also available in some of the documents I sent you. Then that way we can go right into section 10 and I can keep the slide deck very pointed. And like I said, once you folks then go through the information that I sent, and I think that really helps. And I'll point out some other things once we do the actual slide deck. I think it'll start to come together, once you read that information.
I think that'd be great. It would be. I think we'd all be very appreciative of that. So, okay. So I'll follow up with everybody on that post this meeting. We have a little bit of time with the calendar. So Dwayne, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay with us. We're pretty much or feel free to sign off.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Okay, everyone. I don't think there's anything there to receive. It's more of an information session. So we'll move on to item 6.2, which is the Midland Police Services Board budget. And my apologies to board members. It looks like some of this was not sent out to you. I forwarded it today at 12:29. It's in your email from me. And basically what this rolls out, it's a letter from Mr. Dixon, who is the chair of the Midland Police Services Board. And what he was doing was just mentoring us. The questions from the time that he came to speak to us was what was your budget like post, the Midland Police Service, and how did you handle that moving into OPP? And he gives some description in the body of his email, and then he also provided the Midland budget. And I think the big learning that he had for us is be careful, because you'll still have some litigation that you have ongoing as you move into your new board, and it's mostly litigation that was from the past. So what he suggested was that we keep some money back in that board budget. So I guess to you, Mayor Brown, Member Brown in this forum, but to Mayor Brown who might be listening, I did deal with the treasurer on this, and nothing has been passed. It needs to be passed by council. But the treasurer and I have worked up a PSB budget based on the mentoring that we've received. It is heavier up on litigation because we're trying to finalize some items, and that will be presented to council, and then council will give this board the budget. But it will be higher than it was this year, simply because we padded that litigation budget. So I don't know if there's any questions on that from the group, but I guess I wanted to close that loop from Midland to here. Any thoughts? No? Okay, seeing none. Could I have a motion to receive that document?
I'll move, Ken.
Ken, seconded by Member Brown. All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Okay, so item 6.3. This was, there's information in your inbox sent by me at 12:42. And if you recall, what we decided in our last meeting was there was a list of gifts that we wanted. Oh, Member Brown, if you're saying something, you're on mute. But there was a list of gifts that we were contemplating giving to OPS. and we had aligned on a number in our last meeting and voted on that. The issue was could we afford that? Given our budget under the PSB? And my homework that the board had given me was to follow up with our treasurer, make sure I understood where we were in terms of that budget, get her advice on that budget, and be able to go forward. And the email that you've received essentially says just that, is that we do have room in our budget, and the treasurer is recommending that we can proceed in the way that we had set forth. So hopefully that's a good description of where we're at, and if there's any questions, please feel free, or comments. No? Okay. So seeing none, then I'll take a motion to receive, and I'll move forward with the town on those gifts. Could I have a motion to receive that 6.3?
I'll move.
Member
Ken.
Brown?
Oh, sorry.
Ken, you're
Yeah.
in a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. This item 6.4 is a letter from Chief Klinsky, just informing everyone about the tunic situation and dress uniform update. What Chief Klinsky very graciously did was he dedicated or donated his tunic, which is a dress uniform, to the Duffer Museum. And I think that was a very nice gesture to do. And the rest of the members were allowed to keep their tunics and dress uniforms. This wouldn't have been any benefit to Orangeville taxpayers to keep this. And I think it was a nice memento for those members to have as they went. And basically the information is there for the board to see that was executed. And I guess I'm just presenting the information and looking for a motion to receive. Member Brown?
I'll second Ken.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So that brings us to item 6.5, and it's more of a receive thing again. So we have a celebrity amongst our midst. Mayor Brown was on Global News, and so were members of the OPP. Nikki, I'm not sure if you made that real or not, but our celebrity here on this call did, and I thought it was a nice piece, and just wanted to make sure that everybody saw that. And I was there that day as we kicked off, and unfortunately we couldn't have a large portion of the town here. It was an important day, but due to the pandemic, we decided not to do that. But I thought it was a really nice thing and well received by everyone. So, Member Brown, did you want to comment on that at all, or?
No, I think it was very well done. It was a pleasure to meet some of the senior OPP personnel, including the commissioner, who took time out of his busy day to come and visit with us and welcome Orangeville into the OPP fold. So it was a great day, and I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you.
I did as well. Thank you. Okay, so a motion to receive that report.
Member Rose, I think you're on mute. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, I'm sorry. Were you trying to talk all this time?
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I just wanted to say I couldn't open anything that was in that email. I would like to have seen what was there, but I have no idea what it contained.
Oh, on the Global News link?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I can send it in a separate email if you'd like, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay.
I'd like that. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. So we got a motion second. Did we receive that? I apologize. I'm trying to move on to the next
No,
item.
we did not.
Oh, okay. So all in favor?
Yes.
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 Thank you, everyone. So item 6.6 is the community safety grant. And basically, this is just information from Chief Klinsky. I believe he's leaving a breadcrumb trail behind for all of us, including Nikki, that they did work through the community safety grants, and those were applied for. So I don't think there's anything further to discuss. Does any board members have any comments or questions on this item?
No.
No? Okay. A motion to receive this document?
So moved.
Yeah.
Yes. Second.
Member Rose, Member Brown, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. So now we move on to item 6.7, and I am going to give a small description, and then I'm going to defer to Ian if you have any further comments, and then we can discuss. But so this is essentially how we'll conduct our business moving forward. The town will be the keeper of our information. A document has been drawn up. This board has approved that document, and at this point in time, we are waiting for the town signatures. We have a meeting, we being Vice Chair McSweeney and myself, and I believe it's tomorrow morning, with town staff, just with some concerns I guess they had with the final agreement. So I think we're awfully close. I had thought when we drew this up that we were ratifying this today, and that's why it was on here. And something has come up at the last minute that I can't describe to you because I don't know what it is yet until we have the meeting. Member McSweeney, any further comments to that? Did I do a decent job there describing that? Or?
I have nothing further to add. We'll bring this back to the board once it's all tidied up.
I was going to say, do you want to bring it back next meeting for approval?
Yeah, for sure. That would be the intent. And again, my apologies. I thought we were going to be good to go this time.
Yeah, but just to remind board members, we passed the resolution at our last meeting. We approved execution of the agreement at our last meeting. The agreement was executed by Chair Taylor and forwarded to the town for execution. So I think it's coming back to the board just to receive once it's executed, unless there are significant amendments that need board approval.
Agreed.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yes, please, Member Rose.
Have we backdated it? Because the date on there says January the 1st, 2020.
That is, Member Rose, that is absolutely correct. And that is perhaps a discussion point with the town. I'm not sure, they haven't raised it yet. You recall we did socialize the agreement to get comments before. The purpose in doing that, agreements are often made as at a certain date that is back in time, in part to reflect that for the most part, the content of the agreement has been, reflects the reality of what was going on since that date. So we want the agreement to speak from a certain date to make sure that the things that were being done with respect to our records are adequately covered at the date when those things were being done. So I chose January 1st. It may be that it's an April date, but I think it needs to reach back in time. It can't be a current date.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions?
No.
No? Okay. I'm not even sure, board members help me out. I don't think we need to receive anything at this point. All of that's been done, and we thought we were going to be just finalizing this document. So there isn't news to progress at this point on the file. So I think we just move on. Does everybody feel?
Yes. Just defer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So item 6.8, and this eloquent email was written by Orangeville resident Noel Ramsey. I thought it was appropriate to bring it up. I spoke with Mr. Ramsey. I told him that I would save this until our friends at the OPP had arrived, because it just didn't feel like it was the appropriate time to bring it forward. But what Mr. Ramsey is describing essentially is right in the middle of downtown at the intersection of First and Broadway. He is concerned about the safety of that corner and how that I guess progresses as people turn. And I'll be honest, I've been caught up in that as well. That people are turning left and don't necessarily see. It's probably a partial discussion for the town as well. But I thought at a police services board meeting and with Nikki now at the reins, maybe she could instruct her people to have extra set of eyes on that intersection in the short term until we work things through and, with the engineers and whatnot. But that's why I included it. Anybody have any comments on that intersection? No. Nikki, what would be the your preference moving forward? And maybe it's a question for council and for the police services board, but when we're linking in with you about issues about town, if it's speeding or traffic or some other larger issue, how would we best interact with you on items such as this?
We can discuss them at Police Service Board meetings for sure, but I think the more immediate response would be to direct the citizens such as Mr. Ramsey to make sure that they're contacting the OPP with the incident that happened and make a report of it. And then we use that data and the number of complaints to direct the officers to the right time to be in a certain location. And then we can examine the issue and then determine if it is, as you said, maybe a highway structure issue, or if it's something that we can capitalize on all the data and be in the right place at the right time to deter behaviors. So the number one thing for citizens to do is to contact us and make a complaint. And then we'll take the complaint, ask to speak to an officer for sure, not just make a complaint and leave it that way. And then if you wanted to bring it forward to Police Service Board meetings and then discuss it, just have Carrie send me an email, copy me on the email and make me aware that it's becoming more of an issue. I'll probably already know. And then I can report back to you at the Police Service Board at what action we've taken so far and what we plan on doing going forward.
That's great. Okay, thank you. Any questions from board members regarding that process?
It's Ken. I have a question.
Thank you,
Chair
Ken.
Taylor, do you think it makes sense if we did like a press release, what Nikki had said, as to the process for citizens, so they are aware as to what to do in the event there's a complaint or concern, sending it off?
It's a good idea. Nikki, is there something that the OPP would put out, or like so that the Police Services Board isn't misrepresenting you in any sort of way, or what would be best in terms of that linkage towards the public? I think, you know, as an extension to what Ken is saying, is the public is really excited that you're here. They want that linkage with you, and you know, is this something that we just start to disperse on a regular basis with information going to the public? I don't know. What's best?
Yeah. We've already started that process, I think, with the town from the first day that we had published on the town website the process to make complaints. And then as I get complaints that come in on email or telephone, calling me or calling in from someone else, I just ask them to please and refer them back to the communications center and identify the process and why it's so important to follow that process and how it helps us going forward. So if you wish, it's absolutely a great idea, because all the communication that you send to the public is helpful. So everybody has the same message. I hope that makes sense.
I think so. So just to cleanse that off, are you suggesting that, like, do you feel that the OPP then have already done their due diligence with that, and you've got a process out there and the public should know about it? Or do you want us to dovetail? Like, I know what you're referring to. I've seen that edict that was put out. Would the Police Services Board simply say, put something out as well and say, hey, just so citizens are aware, here's the new process?
No, I think that's a constant communication thing, and that because not everybody reads a website, not everybody reads the paper, and word of mouth often is the best way to get a message across. And you're going to hear from folks who aren't aware that maybe it would be best to call into the communications center and make a complaint. And it's been my experience over the years. A lot of times citizens aren't aware that they can call the non-urgent number to make a complaint about this kind of thing, and that we do track it. And so I think any communication from the Police Service Board on an ongoing basis is excellent, and just to keep that line of communication open.
Okay, so maybe what we'll do is, Carrie, we can work on one. We'll kind of steal from the OPP. Can you admit that you're stealing from the OPP in a public forum? We'll steal from the OPP and we'll put something out on behalf of the Police Services Board, and then potentially members could share on their own social media channels as well to help with that. Okay.
I was going to say it's not stealing, it's market research.
Got it. That's a better way of putting it. Okay, so that brings us to, so 6.8, I guess we'll have to have a motion to receive 6.8 if we could. Could I have that, please?
Sure.
Looks like Member Brown, Member Rose, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then we're on to item 6.9, and Nikki, I've not setting you up here. It's just been such an important item for the town as we come in. Town council is aware of this. Our towing folks are aware of this, and you had eloquently shared what that towing plan was, and I just thought maybe you could speak to that a little bit while we're here. Just a little bit more in terms of what next steps are, and maybe I'll just give one last piece. Town is writing a bylaw, and if the citizens are watching, town staff is only so many people, and basically these bylaws get into a queue, and you know, so many bylaws are important that need to be written, and towing is important as well, but it has to fall in the queue in some sort of way. And I believe that it's set to come into play early next year. Member Brown, does that sound about right to you? But we're not far. It's just, it would have been ideal if we had this set up when OPP came in, and unfortunately it's not going to dovetail. So anyway, over to you, Nikki. Did you want to offer anything further on that?
I can offer an update on where we are in the process to have the bylaw written. I have a conversation with Ms. Landry this afternoon, and we're still waiting some further correspondence from the town of Shelburne. And then from there, we'll move forward to the county level and then press forward from there. So in the interim, we're still going to stay with the plan that we have now. And as I said, I know it's not perfect, but it's the best that we have. And I did speak to the rotational call out list, and it's not something that we can actually create and move to at this point in time. So we'll just keep working ahead and on with what we're doing right now, and being diligent about how tows are being picked for calls for service in the appropriate way. And it's the message is getting out there with the members that are backfilling now, and that's a difficult part, is that each person that comes in from another detachment has to read that operations plan and go through the quick towing bylaw, and then have to remember that they're not in their own jurisdiction, they're here in Orangeville, and sometimes they fall back on what they do in their own jurisdiction. And but once our folks get back down from the academy and get into place, I think things will be much smoother, and I think that we'll have some success over the winter until we can get something in place.
Very good. Any questions, board members?
Mr. Chair, I don't want to put Nikki on the spot, but I just wondered if she could offer any comment, quite apart from towing bylaws and enforcing those bylaws, whether she could comment generally on the degree to which organized crime creates a problem in the towing industry.
Good question.
That's putting her on the spot.
Well, and I mean to put you on the spot. I think it's a well-known suspicion, I would say, but I mean, I'm sure the police are aware of it, obviously, and without revealing anything about ongoing investigations. I mean, that's a problem that doesn't sound. It's a tougher problem, right? It's not just non-compliance with a bylaw. It's a wider problem involving various contraventions of the criminal code.
So what would you like me to speak to? So for my experience with the tow companies in Dufferin County, we have a lot of really good businesses here in Dufferin County. In every avenue or every area in Ontario, I'm sure that there's investigations going on in regard to organized crime of some sort or another. And I'm not prepared to speak to any of those investigations, frankly, because I don't have any information. I can assure you that like, as I said, there's a lot of good tow companies, good, honest businesses here in Dufferin County, and I haven't had any experiences of that nature.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions for Nikki? Nope, no comments? Great. So I guess a motion to receive that if we could.
So moved.
Member Rose, Member Brown, thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Okay, so that moves us on to item 6.1. And the background behind this is we had a lovely employee of the Orangeville Police Service that is retired, and that individual's name is Radar, and Radar is a dog. So I think the community will miss Radar, but it was asked that an official letter be written, and that was done so and provided. And the letter is there basically stating the retirement of Mr. Radar. So can I have a motion to receive this unless there's any questions?
So moved.
Member Rose, Member McSweeney.
Seconded.
Very good. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a really nice dog. It was a beautiful dog.
Agreed. So item 7, any motions developed in closed session, and today, ladies and gentlemen, there was not. Lots was discussed, but no motions were there. And then we come to item 8, and on item 8 we have 8.1 and 8.2, which are the adoption of the previous meeting minutes. And I feel, Member McSweeney, that I'm probably best to turn it over to you here. Did you want to speak to 8.1 and 8.2?
Well, 8.2 is not attached, so I think we should just deal with these the same way we're dealing with the other minutes. We are going to be ready very soon to put them before the board, but they're not ready now.
Okay. So when you say that, are we going, we can't approve them if we don't have them, right?
Right. So the August 18th minutes, just to refresh your memory, those were approved subject to certain revisions that we discussed orally at our, and I forget which session was, a prior meeting, with the view that those revisions, which were discussed and approved, would be made, and that the revised and restated document would come back to the board. So the August 18th minutes I need to see. Carrie, if you could send them to me.
Yes.
And I will put a package together to send around to board members with all of the other minutes.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair. The 8.1 was sent out this morning, so the revised.
Right, but it's it's not in shape to pass.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll take this offline and we'll come back to the board with 8.1 and 8.2 at a later date. So nothing to receive there, which brings us on to the accounts and financial statements. I did not ask our town treasurer to come to this meeting. However, 9.1 has the operating actuals versus budget. Any comments or questions on 9.1? No, seeing none. Can I have a motion to receive the financials? Member Brown?
Second. Member
McSweeney, all in favor?
Yes.
9.2, board members, is the remuneration. That's always been a tough word for me. Remuneration claim form for submissions from board members. Any questions on this before I ask to receive? No.
Todd, Todd, I got a question. Ken, our meeting that we had 2 days after, because I had missed this meeting, would that count? Because you basically gave me what you guys talked about and tasked me with an item.
No, I think these are actual meetings, Ken.
Yeah, which meeting is that, Ken? Sorry, you mean?
That's on October 7th. Because remember I missed October 5th, the in-camera meeting?
Yeah.
You wanted to meet with me October 7th. And we went on Teams.
Yeah, I would just call that an update, wouldn't you? Like I wouldn't put that through.
I'm just questioning because you gave me an update as to what that meeting was discussed, and you tasked me with an item.
I'd call that an update. I wouldn't put that through.
Okay. I just was looking for clarification.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so a motion to receive item 9.2.
So moved.
Mary, thank you. Member Rose, Member Brown is seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. So that puts us on to item 10, which is question period. Dan or Mona, is there any questions from the public at this time?
Through the chair, we don't currently have anybody on the line at this time or any
Excellent.
questions.
Excellent. If this was a radio program, you would probably be dismissed. You don't have any members of the public. Okay, so item 11, presentations. I don't think there's any presentations for this meeting. Item 12, delegations, none. 13, there was no correspondence for this one. 14, no reports. 15, board members. Is there any new business that members would like to discuss? No, seeing none, we'll pass on that. So what I'd like to do, board members, is I'd like to adjourn this, and you know what, I'll set up a quick, it's funny to think about this team situation. I'll set up a quick Teams call for board members and Nikki, and we'll just quickly go into closed and finish our closed session. We won't be long, and then we'll adjourn for the evening. But if we could adjourn the open session here, and if you just gave me 2 minutes, I'll send out a Microsoft Teams link, and we'll continue on.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Member Brown.
I'll second, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. So you just beat Mary. All in favor to adjourn?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, give me just a sec, guys, and we'll see you on the other side. I'll send everybody a link. Okay, thank you, everyone. Good night, all. Thanks, Dan and Mona. We appreciate your help.